Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. So we're taking our first road trip on the Chevy Volt. So I started at about 1,050 miles. I'm not going to quite reset this yet because I have some future plans with that since I bought the vehicle. But anyway, we're going what should be on about almost a 200 mile round trip today, maybe closer to 175. So we started out with 31 miles of electric range. We're going to the shop right now, and we are going to plug this back in, but only stay there for a little while, maybe a couple hours, if that, and then we're going to be on the road again. So our destination from the shop is about 80 miles away, and then we've got about 70 miles back home. So it should be about, with the driving to the shop, closer to about 175 miles today. So I'm really curious to see how the Volt does for MPGs once that gas generator up front turns on. So we're going to get started on that little trip here, and I will report once we get onto the freeway. All right, so we start the trip at 19 miles of electric range, and I will rejoin after I hit 0 miles of electric range or 1 mile of electric range, because I have rarely been in this vehicle when the gas engine is on, except for when I was coming back. So let's rejoin here when I have about 1 mile left of electric range. All right, guys, we're finally on the road here, and I actually have 10 miles left to the gallon. I've got 10 miles left on my energy charge, but I feel like once we get on the interstate here that it's going to rapidly go down. So I just kind of want to see how long this 10 miles actually lasts. So right now we're just on where I go about 60, and I just shifted it from low into drive. So for me, it's getting back to normal driving, and low is pretty much like driving an electric vehicle. But I'm not used to driving this car in drive. Now for me, when I get going on faster areas, I don't necessarily like to drive this car in low gear. Now with it in drive, it's actually easy for this vehicle to speed quite a bit. And as you can see, I'm actually going above the posted speed limit, and this gentleman here is tailgating me. But anyway, we're gonna see how much the energy is depleted. And as I go into the energy screen here, so this total charge, with a little bit of about an hour of charging at the golf course here, I've used 8 kilowatt hours and 24 and a half miles to this charge. So now we're just merging. We're actually going to have a little bit of fun on this corner and see how this little Chevy Volt goes around this corner. I'm going 52 on this highway merge, and now we're stuck to a Cadillac. So I'm actually going to throw it in sport mode right now just to give it a little bit of oomph when we're getting onto the interstate. I was flying around that corner. That was quite fun. Even in my Challenger, going 52 around that corner is quite tough. But now we're just merging on to the freeway. Woo, giving her everything we've got. And this Cadillac in front of me just isn't willing to move. So that's one thing about this car in specific, is that it doesn't have the most horsepower. So when you're merging onto the interstate or something like that, then that is going to make it just that much more difficult. So now we're going to set the cruise to 79, and right now we're down to 6 miles of charge left. I really wish I could have got around that corner a little bit faster, because again, this car is just so much fun to drive on ramps and off ramps, because of the fact that the low center of gravity is there, and you can actually feel when the car is just about ready to slide. So it does make it fun to drive. But yeah, as I've seen right here, we've already gone down from 7 to 5 pretty fast. So once this does get on the freeway, when you're going 70 to 80 miles an hour, it does tend to decrease the range quite a bit, to be honest. But the ride is extremely smooth here, and I have to say I'm very impressed. Now we went down to 4 miles of charge. So yeah, when you're going this fast, this vehicle definitely struggles to keep up with the range. But again, when you are driving on the 55 mile an hour zones, I have no problem getting 35 miles out of this thing, 30 to 35 miles, and I do drive a little bit on the aggressive side as well. So now we're down to 4 miles here. I'm just curious to see 3 miles. I'm just curious to see how the battery is going to hold up, how the engine, when it turns on, how loud it is, if you guys can hear this. It's actually quite a quiet car. Now, the one thing holding this car back from being any more sort of kind of sporty performance is, of course, the horsepower, but we're going to ignore that, but is the tire width. Now, that would decrease range, but it would be nice to have, you know, wider than 215s, maybe 235s on this car, just for handling purposes. But who, again, out there besides me is going to, you know, huck this car around a corner? So, overall, though, having a blast driving this car on this trip so far. And again, we're at 2 miles, so just about at the point to where the engine is going to turn on. Right now we're at about 30 miles of charge, or 30 miles of total miles per charge, if I'm even saying that right. And we're just trucking along. But again, tires, so I want to hit that topic quick. So the tires on this car are really cheap. They're Master Crafts, I think. If anything, when I replace these tires, I'm probably going to go with some sort of Goodyear RSA or BF Goodrich, something like that. I like those tires a lot. I've had them on other vehicles, and I think I would probably want to put them on this car too. Now we're down to 1 mile left. And now we just switched over to gas. Okay, so we just switched over to gas. We got 30 miles on this last charge. A lot of it was eaten up, as you can see. A lot of it was eaten up with the fact that I sped onto the highway. I was going at a faster rate than normal, and now with the wind resistance. But I don't know. I can't hear this little bugger go. This is pretty cool. So right now I've got 0 miles to the range, or 0 miles for battery power, and I've got 280 miles per gallon. So I'm really curious to see here how many miles we're gonna get. And let me just show you here while I'm driving. This is what the gauge looks like on the Volt once you go to hybrid mode. So we're going to get through this traffic and rejoin here as we get closer to our destination. So here's something I find really interesting is the infotainment display on the Volt. So you can see in the green, that's how much battery I used on this drive so far. And then, of course, the blue is how much gas I've used so far. So I've gone 18.5 miles on gas, and I've gone 30.2 miles on battery-powered range. So, in total, I've used a half a gallon of gas for 18.8 miles. So, theoretically, I should be able to get about 36 miles per gallon on this Volt. And I find that pretty cool. So, I'm curious to see here, as the drive goes on, what kind of mileage I'm going to end up getting and how much gas I'm actually going to use, because there's only a 9-gallon tank. Now, 9 gallons at 35 miles to to the gallon is a lot of range, almost as much as my truck, to be honest with you. So this is quite interesting, quite a quirk in here in this 2013 Volt, and I have to say, I really like it. All right, so using the first gallon of gas here, so you can see I've gone 30, it'll be about 38 miles to a gallon. So a gallon of gas for premium is about $4, and that's what you have to use in this little gas generator. So it costs about $4, and then the electricity used is 10.3 kilowatt hours. So roughly, I would say $1, maybe a little over $1. So essentially, to drive 68.3 miles, you're looking at $5.50 roughly. We'll just say that. So for me to drive this in my Ram truck at 15 miles to the gallon, you're looking at $3.50 basically for a regular. You're looking at almost 5 gallons, well, 4 gallons of gas, let's just say. So that's costing me about $14 compared to $5. So almost a $10 savings. Of course, when you're using electricity, you get more of a savings, but this is just quite frankly unreal right now. I haven't even used a gallon of gas, and I'm getting almost 39 miles. Well, there we go. Over 39 miles to a gallon of gas. This is crazy, guys. So this is the first time I've went on a longer road trip, and the first time that I've actually paid attention to this, because this is really only the second time I've used gas in this vehicle. You can see there's only a 9-gallon gas tank, so it's not a lot. Yeah, there we go, finally. So 39 miles to the gallon. So to go 39 miles, it's costing me about $4 and some odd cents. That's pretty amazing. So we're going to rejoin again here when we're on our way back and see how we have been doing. All right, we're back on the road here. So I've really been enjoying this ride. So far right now, we've used 30.2 miles of electric-only range and 94.6 miles of gas generator range. So, of course, being the Volt, the generator acts as a power source to the Voltec system, which then powers the battery underneath me. So far we've used 10.3 kilowatt hours of those 30.2 miles of electric range, and it has been 95 miles exact of gas powered range. We've used 2.51 gallons of gas. So that equates out to about 37-ish miles per gallon, which is fantastic. So, with that being said, it says we've got a total combined MPG of 49.9 miles per gallon, but I don't really pay attention to that. I just use how much gas we've used over the amount of miles that we've driven. So, this drive has been pretty great, pretty easy, pretty nice. And one thing I love about the Volt, and this is why I bought the Volt, was the fact that I could do this. I've gone 125 miles total, and to be completely honest with you, if I got an EV that, let's just say, got 200 miles of range or whatever, you know, I would have to kind of watch out where I was driving. Now, of course, I'm driving this very conservatively just to save on a little bit of moolah here and there, but this has been great. I can tell you one thing, it's better than getting 15 miles a gallon with my truck, that's for sure. But yeah, so again, gas is about $4.10 a gallon for premium, and electricity is costing about 10 cents a kilowatt hour. So right now you're looking at $1.03. Not too bad. So $1.03 for energy, and then 2.5 gallons. It'll probably be about 3 gallons by the time we're done. So $12-ish $12.50 in gas. Not too bad of a trip, if I say so myself. But this Volt does such a good job at initiating the actual generator engine, and really you can't hear it run except when, you know, you're flooring it, basically. And I had to try that once just to see, because essentially the generator is, acting as a generator, so it's delayed. So when you need that power, if you floor it, the generator is being delayed, and then it's forcing to catch itself up by producing more energy. And that is okay. I almost went off the road there. Not great. But yeah, this has been an enjoyable drive. I can tell you one thing for sure. One of these cars loaded with adaptive cruise and heated seats and the leather seating, this is a fantastic road trip car. Fantastic. The ride is compliant. The center of gravity is low, which I will always talk about. So there's not a lot of body roll to this vehicle. And it's quite comfortable and fun to drive. Now, of course, the get up and go just isn't quite there, but, you know, if you're not trying to set any land speed records, this car is great. But we're going to hop on the highway here. I actually kind of want to show you what the engine sounds like if I have to rev it a little bit here. Which I don't really have to, but just to get up to speed, we're actually going to put it in drive now. And here we go. There you go, you can kind of hear it kick on. I'm flooring it. There we go, I'm up to 70. So you can kind of hear that generator kick on. Of course, it's using power to generate the battery underneath me to make the car go. But as for right now, we don't have too much to get home, maybe another 20 minutes. And that's it. So we're going to hop on this road. I'll rejoin, give you my final thoughts over this 150-mile road trip, and give you my final opinion on the vehicle. All right, final thoughts here. So we're exiting the highway, the interstate, Highway 53, and we got a little lucky. There was some road construction, and on the way home I took a slower route home, so there was more 55 mile an hour zones where I could go 60 than there was look at that Dodge Challenger on the side of the road, maybe a Hellcat. That's a sad sight. Jeez. And we got a schmucker going way too slow. Okay, see you later, Prius. And that is why I don't drive a Prius, I drive a Chevy Volt. Anyway, going back to this. So, we got lucky. This little stretch here is about the only stretch we can go 70 to 80 on, which was from basically Cameron / Tech all the way up to the north side of Rice Lake, which for those of you who have no clue where I'm at, that's about a 20 to 25 mile stretch. So, not too far. But we're just exiting the highway, so total mileage since this morning when I left my house to go to work so far is 151.1 miles. And when I get back to the house, which should be in about 5 minutes, then that number will go up a little bit. But this is the first real long road trip that I have been taking with the Volt. And I have to say, I've had this vehicle a month, little over a month now. Gosh, almost 5 weeks actually. I think it's been 5 weeks. So 5 weeks. And the premium gas that I put in 5 weeks ago is still the same premium gas that's in it right now. So I was expecting maybe some degradation here. God, it's so quiet. This car is so quiet. It's so peaceful. But I was expecting some degradation of gas, but that just wasn't the case. So in it all, we've driven a total of 121.6 miles on the gas generator. The generator has been going, or at least powering the battery pack. And out of that 121.7 miles now, we've used 3.24 gallons of gas. So when you equate it out, that averages to just about 37 miles per gallon, which is unreal. Guys, listen, I've never had a car that has gotten that high of gas mileage before. I think the car that, my first car, which wasn't technically mine, but I had a Chrysler 200 hardtop convertible with the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6. And on the 55 roads where you can go 60 to 65, that car would average almost 30 miles per gallon on regular gas. But this car just blows that away. I'm just thoroughly impressed with this vehicle. I don't know what else to say. Maybe I'm in the honeymoon period of owning this vehicle, but I guess I'm like that with every vehicle I own because I don't get to drive my vehicles too much, except my truck in the wintertime. That does get a little old here and there, but overall, I think I'm still in the honeymoon period with this car, and I love it. I absolutely love this vehicle. I can't get over the fact that you can run the battery for 30 plus miles, and then you can have a gas engine as a generator backup for the battery that charges the battery. This is unreal technology, flipping unreal technology. And this was in 2013, but they were doing this in 2011, 2012. So I'm just looking at this car. I'm flabbergasted by it. Really, I'm flabbergasted. So essentially, I started the day with about 277 miles of gas, and now I'm down to 175 for the tank left. I'm at a half a tank exactly. So that 123 miles basically took down about 3/8 of a tank. That was it, because I didn't start with a full tank. So I'm blown away. As a road trip car, would I recommend this? Yeah, don't recommend the base model because, you know, there's no heated seats or any sort of, you know, niceties like that. But again, I don't do long road trips with this car too often. This is the first one in 5 weeks. You know, if I do that, I do it in my truck, primarily because I'm going to buy vehicles or buy stuff. So overall, yeah, you can fit people in the back just fine. You can fit stuff in the trunk just fine, or in the hatchback. This car for me gets a rating probably an 8 out of 10, just because of some comfort issues. But 8 out of 10. My truck, 8 out of 10. Why? It's the perfect road trip vehicle, but because it gets points deducted is because it gets 14 to 15 miles per gallon when you're going on a road trip. This car gets 30 miles of electric range plus, and unlimited range after that because you can throw premium gas into this thing. It's easy to see out of. Its driving dynamics are phenomenal, and I mean, everything about it is great. The climate system is a little blah, but yeah, I would totally take this puppy on a road trip. It is fun. This has been very, very, very enjoyable. I mean, it's really everything you want in a car. This is everything you want in a car minus the all-wheel drive system. But it's heavy enough where front-wheel drive can get you to where you basically need to go. So as I pull into my driveway here, we have used 30.2 miles of electric range and 124.7 miles of the gas generator, for a total of 154 miles, 3.3 gallons used. Let's just get that quick. And there you have it. So total of this 154 mile road trip. Unreal, guys. Wow. All right, that's going to do it for me. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe, guys. There's more Volt content coming up. I can promise you that. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Take care.